watching a Dr. Tony Huge and Leo in Longevity video. They're talking about naltrexone, and Leo mentions that they come in 50 milligram pills, and he wishes you could take get 4.5 milligram pills. He said that he used to have a diamond scale and try to cut little pieces off it and weigh them. Yeah, it's not the way to do it for two reasons. One, there's a much better way. Two, you don't know for sure, especially if you're getting pills from non-legitimate pharmaceutical companies. You don't know if every part of that pill has the same amount of medication. I'm not sure what most legitimate pharmaceutical companies do, but I'm sure that not even all of the time when you get it from a legit pharmaceutical company, that they would make sure it's distributed evenly if the pill's meant to be taken whole. Probably, but you might want to look into that. Either way, it's always safest to assume that the dosage of the medication is not evenly distributed throughout the pill. Although most pharmaceutical pills do seem to be. Secondly, the much easier way is that you can just dissolve it in liquid and then drink the correct amount of liquid. Say you have a 50 milligram pill, you dissolve that in, say, 50 milligrams of water, and you drink, if you want 5 milligrams, you drink 1/10, 5 milliliters of water. I don't know why you would need 4.5 versus 5. But yeah, very simple, but of course you do need to look up what your medication is soluble in. Maybe your medication is not soluble in water. Maybe you gotta get out some vodka. You never know. But you find out what it's soluble in, you dissolve it, and you do the math, and you take the correct portion of it. Especially if it's not a pharmaceutical pill. Like pharmaceuticals, I think, once again, I don't want to tell you with certainty, I think they do make sure the medication is evenly distributed throughout the pill. But if it's not a legitimate pharmaceutical company, I would never be taking little portions of pills, because I would not trust them at all to have it evenly distributed throughout the pill, especially if it's a medication that has high toxicity, and you think, oh, I'm going to just take this little fraction of the pill. What if that little fraction has pretty much all the medication and you just got a toxic dose? What if you just got a lethal dose? This is a problem people have with fentanyl on the streets. People buy fentanyl pills, and you could think, oh, I don't know how many, they sell them as oxycodone in the United States, it's stupid. But you can think you got whatever dosage, and take a little fraction of the pill, but there could be an amount of fentanyl in there that could kill you. Not good. So yeah, the more dangerous a medication is, the more necessary it is to do volumetric measurements. And if you have a highly toxic medication, fentanyl is a great example of that. I don't recommend you ever get fentanyl from the street. I don't recommend you ever get it even with a prescription. Opioids are bad, you don't want to use them. But if for some reason you did, very smart to evolve. First, you want to get naloxone. Luckily, there's an antidote for that. But then you want to volumetrically measure it, and you know that, like, 2 milliliters of it should be a good amount. Well, then you start with, normally I would say you start with 1/10. However, fentanyl is a special exception. I would start with like a 100th. Make sure that doesn't wipe you out. I would certainly not inject it, because that's going to hit you immediately and kill you immediately if it does. Yeah, very toxic medications, better to take them slower routes, so you have some time before it all gets in you. You can feel it building up a bit. My video is getting a bit off topic, but it is important to know these safety things. And then you slowly work up to what should be the minimum effective dose, because you don't know. You got this pill, maybe you got all the stuff in that one, or maybe the dosage of the whole pill is wrong, because we're talking about volumetric measuring. You buy a pill from a non-legitimate pharmacy or someone on the street, you don't know what the dosage in that pill is. You're just believing them that it's 50 milligram pill. You don't know, it could be 0 milligrams, it could be 100 milligrams, it could be 20 milligrams, it could be 200. People aren't usually going to give you too much on purpose, but accidents happen, especially with non-professional, non-legitimate pharmaceutical companies. You got Joe Schmo doing it, he screws up, and now you got a lethal dose of something in your pill. So you got to make sure you dissolve it. Volume, you know how much should be a dose, and you start way below that, especially if it's a highly toxic drug. Unless you are suicidal, in which case, I guess you don't need to do any of this. But yeah, very easy to measure out portions of a medication. You Google, let's say it's naltrexone. You Google naltrexone solubility. And you look on Sigma and Aldrich, or you look on PubChem, you look on a reliable website, and you see what it's soluble in. You see how much is soluble and how much liquid. And if it says that 50 milligrams takes a liter to dissolve in, you go, well, that's not very soluble. I'm going to dissolve it in something else. But if it's 50 milligrams, if you can dissolve 500 milligrams per milliliter, great. Yeah, it's not complicated. Then you dissolve it and you do the math to figure out which portion you want. I hope you like this video. I hope it helps you. I hope it helps you to be safe, healthy, never use bad drugs. I mean, not that drugs are good or bad, but don't screw up your life doing stupid things, that's for sure. But something like naltrexone, I don't think it's going to screw up your life. I'm not saying you should take it or not, but yeah, now you know how to do it better and more safe. Hope you please like, subscribe, and comment. Costs you nothing. Maybe it'll help me out someday. Check out my other videos.